what's going on, everybody? Welcome to T-Box Talk. We have a special episode today. It's episode 51.5. Why is it 51.5? Well, we had a whole special thing planned for our one-year anniversary of T-Box Talk, being episode 52. However, our very special guest happened to fall through this week. We are going to push that to next week, and we're just going to do 51.5 today. So we're not going to call this our special one-year anniversary show. We're just going to go with 51.5 today on the podcast. As always, joined by Will and Josh.
Howdy.
Going over the weekend roundup. The Kentucky Derby was over the weekend. We got some sports. I have a couple great golf stories to get into. We'll hit what are we watching, and then end with the Freeforms stand-up segment. But stay tuned for next week and peep our social medias for a special announcement for a very special guest coming onto the podcast. So let's get into it, boys. Let's get into it. Josh, take it away.
I'd like to say that we are going to do some trivia next week, too. That's going to be
something special. We also are going to be doing some trivia next week. Yeah. Might not even be golf-themed. Might just be a special hidden secret trivia game to give away some awesome free products. Again, all in celebration of 1 year of T-Box Talk. It's been a roller coaster. It's been a lot of fun. We're going to keep doing it. And so just stay tuned for next week. It's going to be amazing. But let's get 51.5 started right now. Josh, how was your weekend?
My weekend was very good. Will, we talked about this last week. I'll tell you this. I brought my sister and my mom out. And my dad, actually, all together in a foursome, and we played curve. I actually played with Mary independently. We did a round on Saturday that was just her and I. Mm-hmm. Dude, it was kind of unreal. I mean, I was still very focused on, helping her, so, I wasn't really thinking about my game as much. And the second day, I definitely wasn't thinking. I was actually, there was one point in the day where I was considering just picking up and not playing, just being out there for them, you know? But I ended up putting together a good shot after I wanted to make that decision. So
Scrap that idea.
Yeah, I fired one off.
Self-check.
I fired one off into the woods, and I was like, I can't even be focused because we had a situation where these two guys come up. It bothers me when
set the table, Mary, your sister and your mother do not play golf.
Mary learned how to play golf when she was younger, and because she's playing from the women's tees, she actually has a fucking nuke of a swing. Mm-hmm. She can hit the ball really well and hits it relatively straight almost every time. It's kind of fucking crazy. It's weird because when you're not trying to swing too hard, the women that I'm playing with are not out there trying to rip drives and stuff, and a lot doesn't go wrong when you're just swinging even, very nice and slow. But anyways. So we get on we tee off on the first hole. I had them play a scramble, so they did scramble between each other, and then got further up the way. The course starts sending out all these different twosomes behind us.
Oh no!
And I'm like, now Will, I had Will ringing in my ear, take a Xanax, Josh, take a Xanax, because I'm freaking the fuck out. I don't know what to do. I'm like, do I let them play through? And I let one twosome play through. And there's no, even there wasn't one foursome, it was all twosomes. So what do you do in that situation? Even if you have a foursome that's not new players or something like that, what do you really do if you have two twosomes? Instead of matching those twosomes up together, you're just firing off twosomes behind us.
That is totally on the course. That's bullshit.
What do you think, Will? You know a lot about golf courses, I feel in management and all that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of on the starter. If you have a twosome that's going out and then you have another twosome that's slated to go out after you, but there's a gap in the tee sheet, a reasonable starter will be hey, look, we can pair you up, or I can send this twosome off a block behind you or something like that, so you guys aren't riding each other. But it's really, I mean, like Colucci said, that's on the course. That's an issue that the starter should have resolved before these people are teeing off.
Because you can't let once you
let one twosome play through, and then you got another twosome behind you, and then who knows what's behind them. Okay. So we're just gonna sit there on the tee box all day and let people fucking play through.
Will, you just described where I almost had a full-blown panic attack on the golf course. Mm-hmm. Is I let a twosome play ahead of us because I thought they would be quick. I thought they'd fucking go up, they rip their drive, they go out there and they get on, and just be quick. They weren't. They fucking sucked. And one of the guys we actually knew, and so it was I'm waiting on them, and especially because At Kirkbrayde, I was playing from the whites to save time on us getting to each, so we didn't have to go up from blues and whatever. And I can drive like a good portion of the greens if I'm hitting from whites. And the wind was with us. It was warm out. So I had to wait for them to get off. It was a fucking nightmare. But then after like a certain amount of holes, we just gave up and we just played our game. And actually, like, people just either skipped ahead of us or we let like a one-some go by and whatnot. But it was actually a lot of fun getting out there with like family, and like that's what it's all about for me. Like I had a lot of fun. I'm shocked that we actually made it out there and did it. But
so you're a very patient person. Like, you teach well. I would not have been able to do that.
it was
like,
tough.
teaching.
It was it tested every.
It's literally what I said to Josh.
Yeah.
Josh, I'm gonna go teach my mom and Mary this weekend. I was like, bring the Xanax.
I literally, like, because I've tried to teach snowboarding to people before, and I'm so bad at it. Like, I'm so bad at teaching someone how to do like innocuous tasks that like require. I can't explain it, but like, I'm like, do this. You're not doing it. Why aren't you doing it? I don't know how to help you.
Well, I mean,
I get frustrated. I'm just like, fuck this, waste my time.
You're probably a visual learner like me. So as a visual learner, you're also a visual teacher. And I don't think it comes down to laziness, but like anytime I'm trying to teach someone skiing or golf, I'm always like, just watch what I'm doing. Watch what other people are doing. I can't verbally articulate how to do what I'm doing.
Exactly.
But if you just watch it, and that's like kind of that plays into the whole aspect of like, how do you get better at golf? You just go out and play with people that are better than you. Because you'll automatically get better over time, and I feel like that's something my dad said his entire life. We've been playing together for 20 plus years, and he's gone from a hundreds golfer down to an 80s golfer without any lessons. So,
yeah, and it's weird because I do have like they played overall pretty well for what they are, like the way they were playing, but. I think the thing that bothers me is less about the mechanics and like the failures and the successes of like each shot. I care a lot more about haste. I don't like people that are like lackadaisical. Mm-hmm. Like on the first day with my sister, she was just kind of just like meandering around, just kind of moving slowly without like pace being considered, and just like ultimately care for what she's doing. It's just kind of
going through the motions.
Going through the motions, not moving with intention.
Right. And like I care more about them being aware of that. And it was so funny watching my mom shuffle around the golf course, like me like putting pressure on her to hit and line up to the ball correctly and shit. Learn by trial by fire. I think they did a great job. I'm really proud of them. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that does sound like a lot of fun. Will, any weekend action?
Yeah, Friday was a fun day. Marissa and I met my buddy Will and his girlfriend Jess down at Mulligan's Island in Warwick.
Are they still open?
So they're open, and every Friday now. Actually, the last Friday was the first Friday that they do it, and they switch on and off with another place. I don't know where, but they also do food trucks every Friday, 5 to 9 o'clock at night. So we did 18 holes of mini golf, and then we walked over to the food trucks. And they had like 10 or maybe 15 or 20 food trucks there.
Wow.
Within walking distance, literally like 100 feet away. So we went there. We ate and drank our way around the food trucks. And then before I knew it, it was dark out. So Friday was a really fun day. Saturday, Marissa and I went out and played tennis.
Okay.
In Situate. Yeah. Had a nice.
That's awesome.
Marissa's very into tennis. So, and we're trying to, be more active. So
yeah,
we're trying to do tennis. Cause golfing is golf, but like I don't walk that much anymore. I mean, 9 holes is 9 holes, but you're not going to catch me out there walking 18 in the summer. So regardless, we went out and played tennis. It was a lot of fun.
How were the joints after?
Not bad. Honestly, like my sister was a like all-state tennis player when we were growing up. So when we were like in Rhode Island for vacation or whatever have you, we were playing a lot of tennis. So I got pretty decent at tennis over, between, my teenage years. And so it came out to shine on Saturday, and I definitely took home the crown.
Really?
So yeah, Marissa, we got the bug now. So Marissa and I are going out and playing tennis tomorrow as well.
Tennis is fire.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's
I wish I was better.
Similar to golf almost in a way too. Not in the sport, but in the fact that like
once you get it's like muscle movement.
Yeah,
muscle movement. Once you get it down, it's like I got to work on my backhand, but I got a strong forehand for tennis and ping pong. So I mean, as you guys know. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Sunday we weren't gonna do anything, and then ended up popping up to North Attleboro, hit a couple thrift stores, got some. I'm wearing this $4 Masters T-shirt right now. Shout out Goodwill. And then we had BJ's for lunch.
Nice,
So
nice.
all around, really good weekend. Bounced around a lot.
And as for me, I lost all my money on the Kentucky Derby.
I was going to say, did you guys watch the Derby?
Yeah, I went to a whole Derby party, actually. It was super fun. My friend Noah hosted it at his apartment in Boston, and we did the mint juleps, all the food from the Kentucky Derby. Like, he made it all with his wife, and it was awesome. It was a really fun time. And then we did a cool, like, pool thing where you submit $10 into the pool and you draw a random horse, and that's just your horse.
That's cool.
So obviously lost that because my luck is awful. I don't even remember who I had. And then I had 3 other bets out there for different horses. Lost all of them. So I went 0-4 on the Kentucky Derby as usual. But it was a ton of fun. It's all the hype all day. Like, you drink all day, eat little snacks all day and food. And then it's just 2-minute race, and then it's over. And then that's it.
Yeah, isn't it like 17 minutes total or something like that? How much money did you lose?
Too much.
It threw me off. I actually finished the golf round with Mary. We played 9 holes that was Saturday, right? Mm-hmm. Played 9 holes on Saturday, and then went in to eat at Kirkbrae. And the place was erupting.
Yeah.
Mary, here's a funny story. From the time that the race started, so Mary literally left the table to use the bathroom. From the time the race started to when she got back, it was over.
Yeah.
A bathroom break was the equivalent of the whole entire duration of that event, and all the screaming and hooting and hollering in that place happened in less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's like 15 minutes of like pageantry and walking the horses up to the gate and singing the national anthem and singing the Kentucky national song or state song or whatever it's called. And then they race for 2 minutes, it's over. That's it.
That's so weird.
And
you know what the funny part is?
Everyone's screaming.
Well, everybody's screaming the 2 minutes, right? But then after, like, normally in a Super Bowl type event, there's one team versus the other, and the fan base is split. But the vast majority of everybody in that crowd is losing money.
Yes, exactly.
And some of them probably lost, like, a fucking house worth of money.
Oh, yeah.
And so the crowd goes from, like, maximum eruption, and, like, they're celebrating on the field. They're walking the horse. The guy's got his ticket, and he's all fucking happy and shit. And the little guy's running around, what do they call the jockey?
Jockeys.
Yeah.
And then you look at the crowd, is just dead silent.
Yeah, because there's like 90% of the people like, fuck. Like, there goes a couple grand.
All I can think about was like when we talk about the derbies, how like Tony Soprano had that horse.
Yes.
And they were like very into horse racing for a while. And like all I picture in my head is literally what you just explained, how like everyone's going wild for 30 seconds and then it's just quiet.
Oh, right. Because that day when Tony didn't win.
Yeah, he lost.
And his boy,
Yes, and he celebrated in his face. Yeah, and then it was a whole...
Like Ralph Cifaretto won and then like gave him a cut of the money.
Yeah.
And then he bought the horse and then the horse died. It was very sad.
Yeah, I think back to...
Don't they kill it?
I don't know. I think Ralph burned the stable down, which killed the
to
horse.
collect the insurance money.
Yeah, and then Tony had the whole portrait painted of him and the horse together.
Yes.
Well, he also fucking put the head of the horse in his bed. Or was
No,
it
that's the Godfather.
Oh, shit, my bad.
Same, but different.
I think about fucking the Peaky Blinders. Because
Never seen Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders is all about, like, their whole entire, the gypsy organization that they were building, the mafioso, was completely based around horse racing.
And fixing it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They started, I think they like owned the horse stables by the end of it.
That's too funny. But yeah, Derby Day is always amazing. So I also got another parking ticket in Boston. I can't stop getting parking tickets.
That's brutal.
I don't know. They tell me sometimes free parking on the weekends at my friend's house, and then it's not. And then I pay the meter, and then they still give me the ticket. But the meter only lasts 2 hours, and I'm parked there for like 24 hours.
They don't have like the mobile parking app, like Park Mobile.
You can only park for 2 hours, and then you have to move it. And I just honestly, at this point, sometimes I don't get the tickets. Like the $40 here and there, like I'd rather that than have to go park in a garage and probably pay around the $40 anyway.
Or like Uber back to fucking Cumberland. That's like
bucks. Yeah, seriously.
$40, $100.
Yep.
I just remembered something that I will say for the end of the podcast. Anyways, sports and golf. Okay, couple things. Have you seen, remember last week or 2 weeks ago when we had our last episode, we talked about how the LIV event at the Australian golf course was like crazy, right?
Oh my God, I saw this, Colucci.
So that is a private country club, and the members of the private country club are outraged because the course was just left like mangled.
Have you heard about this?
No,
or seen this?
I haven't heard anything about this.
So a bunch of the grounds were just completely mangled, like and like pounded down and like kind of almost destroyed. And these private members of this course who've paid like thousands to belong there are like, what the fuck? Like they left the course in horrific condition. Now some members are like coming out and saying like, you know, it was cool that they played it at our course because like it's great exposure for our course. Like that's really cool. But then a lot of the members are like, they fucked our course up. And like we're sitting here like
any
almost unable to
PGA,
play.
any event you do like golf where you have tens of thousands, potentially hundreds of thousands of people at an event, I mean, the course is going to get stomped the fuck out.
Yeah,
I mean, I think, and maybe this is just a hot take on it, but maybe like some of those crusty members are just like using the hate for LIV as fuel to like complain about the whole event in itself.
Yes,
you know what I
I
mean?
think so.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, now you're getting into what you just said is a really wild topic, and people are becoming more and more aware. There's like, you know how when you see in movies, you see like there are political moves where like people can change the narrative in the media. My belief is that the PGA Tour is starting to have an impact on the portrayal of LIV through different media outlets. So as an example, the first I saw of this was through Golf Digest.
Same, yeah.
And Golf Digest put out this post, right? They say, oh, the visuals of it are like, oh, the golf course was absolutely destroyed. Members and local course goers absolutely infuriated. And the picture they used was a sand pit, a guy in a sand pit with like 5 beer cans. And so they didn't show any of the damage, quote unquote, that was being talked about.
Yeah, they just showed when they were cleaning up the course.
They just showed the cleaning up the course, right? I looked to the comment section. I couldn't believe it. There were hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people that were railing and ragging on Golf Digest for they were calling it PGA Digest. Because they were literally like, you showed us a picture of the damage, or you're calling them out for doing the damage. Where's the damage?
Yeah,
Don't show us a picture of the fucking beer can. Show me a green that got completely torn up.
Were you going to show me like some matted down grass from spectators walking on the grounds?
Yeah.
That frustrated me too, because I read the whole article. I was like, where's the damage? Like, show me something. Like,
I mean, whether it's golf news, political news, whatever fucking news, it's always going to be leaning one way.
there's
you
always
know?
there's always an edge,
Yeah.
an angle. Every story has an angle, unfortunately.
And
today's
you know,
society.
you got to assume that Jay Monahan and the PGA have, over the years, have applied cumulative pressure.
And they probably have Golf Digest in their pocket.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
1,000%.
Yeah.
I like almost wanted to find you guys some of the comment section
Yeah.
to it, because it was just crazy. The people are seeing right through it. Like it's weird. It's just weird. I don't know. It's a weird situation.
Okay, another crazy story. And I don't know what I would have done. Actually, I do know what I would have done if I was in this kid's shoes.
I know
Have
exactly.
you
what you're
heard
talking
about this Tommy Cole kid? Sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name.
Mm.
He is a college golfer
Oh.
who is at a U.S. Open qualifier.
Yep.
Sets the course record at 62.
Yep.
Right? He's going to obviously qualify. He fucking turned himself in because on 10 of the holes, he was fixing the greens that had been aerated. And apparently it's illegal to fix greens that are aerated, like fix your lie
Yep.
on an aerated green. If there were leaves, you can move leaves and stuff. But because it's specifically aeration, there's golf rules that say you can't fix it. You can't fix that. And nobody said anything. And he
Turned himself in.
in.
Yeah, what was it like? He was like, I would have just felt guilty if I set
he
the
was like,
course record.
He was quoted saying, like, I felt like sick to my stomach because he was watching his friend play in a playoff hole.
Yep.
And then he was like just sitting there the whole time, and it like hit him like, oh my God, I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing, because he noticed that his friends like weren't doing that. And he's like, why aren't they doing that? Oh my God, I wasn't supposed to be doing that this whole time.
That's crazy.
And he
First of
fucking
all,
turned himself in, disqualifying his score.
First of all, that's bullshit. So, like, why would you aerate the green before, like a big
PGA Open qualifier?
A big qualifier.
I don't get that either.
And second of all, the aeration itself is out of the golfer's control. Once it's done, it's done. So, in my eyes, that rule is complete bullshit.
It is.
If you want to take the time to fix every single aeration mark in your line, by all means,
Is that
do
what
it.
he did?
he was fixing his line. Like, he was like, I don't know how specifically he was doing it, but apparently it was enough that nobody noticed it. Like, nobody called him on or anything. He just turned himself in.
Well, that's so wild. I agree with Will.
I didn't even know that was a rule
It just
either.
brings me back to, like, take the qualifying, take this guy setting the course record out of it. If you aerate the greens, whether it's like preseason, mid-season, or end of season, I don't think that courses should be allowed to charge full rates, because the putting is just it's almost impossible to like get an actual read for the greens throughout your round, before the round, whatever. I mean, and putting is such an integral part of the, it's an integral part of the game.
Yeah.
Like, it makes a difference between your score in a lot of ways. So,
And my angle on it is like, imagine if you planned a golf trip with your friends, like, and you were like flying somewhere to golf specifically in that location, and you show up after spending, thousands of dollars to fly out and stay there. You show up to the course to find out that all the greens are aerated and it's going to be shit. Like, I don't know. There's something about that. There should be some type of advanced warning, or like when you're booking your tee times, it should say, we're planning to aerate on this day. These dates will be affected.
yeah.
Just like skiing blackout dates. Those exist where they're like, you can't come on these days because of your pass.
Yeah. I mean, most courses are good about it. Like, I will say, like, a lot of the courses that I play around here are very public about when they're aerating. Tallwood, for example, and the course my dad works at and everything. But yeah, I mean, going back to the rules thing, I mean, it sucks. Good on him for coming forward. Some people just have that guilt complex where they just like absolutely can't live with themselves, no matter how small the guilt is. But I think either way, for me, it's bullshit.
That reminds me of The Legend of Bagger Vance. You guys seen that movie?
No.
That's crazy. You guys haven't seen The Legend of Bagger Vance?
I don't think so.
Will
No.
Smith and fucking Matt Damon?
Is
No.
it a golf movie?
Yeah, dude. It's like the golf movie. It's the second. I'd say it takes second place to the greatest game ever played.
I haven't seen it.
Wow. Well, I'm not going to ruin it for you then.
All right. In other sports, does anybody else have any golf topics?
Yeah, I caught wind that I didn't catch wind. It's all over fucking social media. I don't have some secret intel for you. That Will Ferrell's going to star in a golf sitcom.
Yes.
And there's another big name in it, I think, but I do know that it's public that Happy Gilmore is going to be making an appearance in
For
that
sure.
golf sitcom.
Yeah.
100%.
Very excited for that.
Yeah.
It's about the LIV PGA drama.
loosely. Yeah.
Yes.
It's about Will Smith starting a competitive golf league to the
Will
PGA
Ferrell.
Tour. Will Ferrell.
Oh, okay.
So do you think Will Ferrell's playing Greg Norman?
Yeah, he's probably gonna play like
Like a spin-off of like
an
Greg?
evil, funny character.
Okay.
Like that's the angle they're probably gonna take. I'm trying to think of the movie that he did.
When they did Caddyshack, right? What was that whole movie? The premise.
I don't fucking remember what the premise of that movie was. I think it's just the caddy wants to play in the tournament, right?
No, actually, I know what it is. On the third, there's 2 and 3. There is a 2 and 3 in Caddyshack, and in one of the movies, it's all about the guy trying to buy the course to change the rules, and it's like a combination of like basically the country club versus this guy was a super wealthy real estate guy, but he was an average Joe. Basically, is his life story. Nobody knows those movies because they fucking suck.
Yeah, I've never seen Caddyshack.
Caddyshack 1 is just
It's
untouchable.
It's great. Yeah.
But anyways.
Anyways, that's crazy. I'm actually very excited for that. Any other golf news before I get into the Celtics absolutely destroying my heart and soul last night?
Well, I think it was I felt so bad for Garrett on
Oh, yeah, I
yeah.
think we got to address this. Yeah.
There was a bunch of social media. I mean, if you're in the golfing world or you have any interest in it, basically, there's these really great content creators, GoodGood Golf, and there's a couple guys that are affiliated with it, and they're kind of a golf team, but they had like an event with Callaway, and they did a whole thing. I don't even know what I would call it. I don't know if they even played 9 holes or whatever.
I think they did, yeah.
They must have done something like that. But anyways, Garrett was
Looked
teeing
awesome.
off. Yeah, Garrett was teeing off. Who's like he's the head honcho at GoodGood. He's like the guy who created essentially GoodGood and its brand. And he was GM Golf, and he's been doing it for like 15 years now. I was actually there when he had like no subscribers. I remember seeing I came across he was doing like a speed vlog of him playing golf in the morning before school time. It was back when he was in high school. And he had very few views, but he was fucking. But anyways, he fucking drilled somebody off the first hole because they were too close and he's not you. I just don't think he was you. He fucking shanked the ball off the heel of the club. I mean, he didn't even make contact with it.
Yeah. Well, did you hear what the resolution to that was?
Yeah, he got free merch for life.
Yeah, so the guy that got hit got free good merch for life. We'll see if that actually holds up.
Yeah, I think that might be like a, there's
got to be some discrepancies.
Yeah. Like a handshake agreement. Like
handshake agreement.
You get we'll give you a discount code.
Until you forget, until you forget about this.
Yeah.
You can have good merch.
It's like people who win like free Chick-fil-A for a year, free McDonald's for a year. How often do you think those people are actually going back?
Not even that. It's just like all the like fine print on those type of things.
Or you're only limited to like
you can get one meal a week or so, like one meal. Sandwich a week. Yeah.
That would be dangerous. If you had somewhere like that, which is super unhealthy food, that gave you free food for a year, that you could just go there anytime you want with a black card and just fucking.
But by the end of that year, you're probably gonna be sick of the food.
If you abuse it, yeah, you're
like,
right.
If you get free Domino's pizza for for life, like I would hate Domino's like 6 weeks in.
The Domino's is like I haven't eaten a Domino's pizza since I did a case race in college and I ate a whole pizza in my face.
I'm not gonna throw shade on Domino's because we do frequent Domino's like once a month.
No,
but
I am gonna throw shade. Domino's fucking sucks.
I like Domino's, whatever. But still, if I had that and I was eating it week over week for like 2 months, I'd be sick of it.
But Domino's is also very like fabricated food. I think that Chick-fil-A, as an example, I mean, it's just a chicken sandwich, which you can just eat a chicken sandwich over and over again. It's not even like pizza in general. You can eat pizza a lot, don't get me wrong. But that type of pizza where it's not like the hand artisanal, local, whatever, you're just going to get sick of it. But Chick-fil-A, man, I mean, it's like literally I think they have some kind of fucking Coke in that food. Like
it's so good.
There's something addictive about their recipe. I don't know what it is. And I was taught from the guy.
Well, you know that the main thing with, and we're going on a huge fucking tangent here, but the one thing I will say that I found out recently is that Chick-fil-A marinates. I don't know if they use it as their marinade or if they use it before they batter the chicken. But the chicken is, I'm pretty sure, marinated in pickle juice.
Yeah, I've heard that. I knew someone who, one of our friends' moms used to marinate the chicken in pickle juice. And the enzymes in the vinegar from the pickle juice apparently tenderizes the meat. And it makes it significantly
juicier, tender.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
Chick-fil-A rant over.
Steering us back on track.
We're probably the worst golf podcast that's ever come out.
Probably.
Hopefully anybody that listens to this just like kind of likes us to a degree.
I think this is more of a friendship.
We got like 8 minutes of golf content in there, all right?
We did. No,
and the whole opening was golf too. I mean, it's more of a friendship shooting the shit podcast. It's fun.
I'll tell you what though, about back to the GoodGood thing, man. I feel for Garrett because I've taken my fair share of heat from my golf swing on social media over the years. Initially when I had like gotten that video to like 200,000 views and we said it went 310 or 15 yards or whatever, and people absolutely gave it to me.
Oh yeah, I got shamed on social media for like 2 months straight for my swing.
I mean, short backswing.
Well, I either get like the John Rahm comments or I get like the no fucking way this dude is hitting it that far.
Well, it's happened to me since the dawn of my time on social media.
That was our first ever like quote unquote viral video for Omada Golf. It was you. We just put a drive of you hitting like 315 yards, and the comments. I think there was like 10,000 comments.
And
fuck you. No way you did that, bitch.
And you know that the reason that the video went viral is because people are sitting there rewatching it like 27 times to figure out their own internal calculations as to how far like how far they think the drive went. And it's like funny, even in like people are so fucking violent on social media, dude. It
escalates so fast.
That one thing happened with Garrett, which was a complete accident. Everybody knows it, and that if you're an average Joe, you know that can happen. They're not pro golfers, and
you also assume the risk of standing there,
right? But people are fucking like destroying the brand over it, like fucking good. It was so funny though. They were like, "This is more instead of being good, they're now bad," or something like that. It was so. You gotta take all that shit with a grain of salt, Garrett.
They'll forget about it in a week.
Yeah. Less, honestly, probably.
Yeah.
Kind of makes for like the kid's okay, which is the best part of the story, man. It's not like he's like in the hospital right now.
They
or
rise
anything.
you up to fucking tear you down. That's the old
That's
theme.
how it works. Ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
Anyways, back on track here. Celtics below Game 5. On the story of this podcast, the Celtics have lost the NBA championship when we did it 1 year ago. We're in another championship run right now, and they just blew a home Game 5 to the Sixers. So by the time this comes out, Game 6 is tonight in Philly. I'm going to be depressed next week if we don't close this out. But for some reason, if the series goes 7 games, the NBA decided to schedule all the Game 7s for Mother's Day, which is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. So anyways, I'm
Tough
pissed
to
about
watch.
the Celtics. Very tough to watch. Let's get into some what are we watching. I'll kick it off. I got a couple things. One, I've been talking about it on the podcast. I was really excited to watch it. I was finally able to watch Scream 6, and it lived up to all the expectations that I had. If you're a horror fan, Scream fan, I highly recommend Scream 6. It was unbelievable. They left the town. They went to New York City. It was sick. Yellow Jacket Season 2, do not recommend. I think it sucks. I don't know why I'm still watching it. And my third thing that I want to get off is the new Christopher Nolan trailer dropped. And me and Josh are big Christopher Nolan fans. We went and saw Tenet in theaters when it came out. No fucking clue what happened in that movie still to this day. But Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer the trailer has finally come out. It's coming out in July. That's going to be a banger.
Yeah.
That's going to be so fucking good.
Yeah, I don't even know what the hell you guys are talking about, but I've seen a lot of hubbub
Christopher
about
Nolan?
Oppenheim.
Christopher Nolan is Inception,
Dark Knight.
The space movie. Why am I blanking on this? Interstellar. He
also did the war movie.
Freaking about the computer programmer.
No, that's not him.
That's not Christopher Nolan.
Is that recent one?
No, he did the one.
About
was
the
it
ships.
1912?
No. It's the ships. Dunkirk.
He did Dunkirk.
So
All right.
he's done some epic movies, and so he's coming out with Oppenheimer, which is the nuclear arms race of World War II.
Ooh, that's gonna be good.
Yeah.
They fucking recreated a nuke, a physical nuke, like
for the movie. Because they couldn't get it in CGI, so they were like, let's actually blow some shit up.
Well, you also know too who Christopher Nolan is. He lives and dies by practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
So like in all the Batman movies and everything, he was blowing up fucking cars. Like he was running those tumbler. He built a tumbler, and it had to do the things that you were seeing on the movie, right? So it's just crazy shit.
Yeah, it was crazy.
He's a nut job.
That's gonna wrap it up for me, Josh. I still haven't watched Lord of the Rings, but I'll throw it to you.
If you watch literally the first 5 minutes, every good visual video media has a hook. Everything, whether it's an ad, whether it's a fucking movie, like they start out with an undeniable hook that will just drive you in. So you just have to watch the first fucking 5 minutes. But anyways,
I'm too addicted to Elden Ring right now. I can't. But go on.
okay, anyway, yeah, I can't speak to that. I can't believe you're still playing that. But anyways, I watched fucking Sanctuary. Has anybody seen this on Netflix?
No, I have not. What
No.
is
This is a movie. It's a show. Sorry, it's in a different language. I don't know how I've. The more I think about it, the more I realize. It's all dubbed. I've becoming very accustomed to dubbed content. I've broken that wave where I'm frustrated with it, and now I just can watch it like anything else. It's weird.
So but you're watching it in English,
Yeah,
and it just doesn't match up.
right.
Yeah, and you've gone.
It takes place in Japan, and it's about basically the inside out of sumo wrestling.
Wow.
And I never understood, like, you see sumo and you always like, we don't watch actively sumo wrestling, right? But
No.
you see like you saw like Fat Bastard in fucking that movie, whatever. And you think they're just like these fat fucks who are just like slamming into each other. Dude, the amount of muscle and strength that those guys have
Stamina.
is insane.
Yeah.
And what they do on the way that the narrative was really good. There's some quirky stuff. When you get like foreign content, there's always like, to us, it's just going to be more quirky. Like there's quirks about it, but it was really
Is
cool.
it a documentary or is it a real show?
Live action?
Oh, so it's like a show.
Yeah. And they like they're very abusive in sumo. So like there's a lot of like hazing that goes on initially.
Yes, I've heard about this.
Yeah. There's a really bad hazing.
Because a lot of them live together, right?
They all live together. They
Yeah.
have the it's not called a dojo. It's There's something else. Call it a dojo. I mean, whatever. It's kind of just martial arts based thing, but it's weird. Like, it's one of those bizarre human things that we do that you look at and it's so confusing, you know? But it was just I was perplexed by it and it just made me interested. So I watched it.
Would you recommend it?
Like many of the foreign movies that I recommend or say that I watch, I don't know. Like, I don't know if people like, if Will was to watch that show, I don't know that Will would like it, as my theory on it, you know? But like, is it cool? Is it sort of like a different perspective? It's just so unique from all the same gibberish that we're getting out of people. You know, like all this like content right now, I mean, the best stuff is the hardest to create. As an example, my dad and I have been waiting for Witcher season 3
Oh
for
my God,
so
don't even get me fucking
long.
started.
And finally, it's coming out sooner than I think it's like in the next month or two. It's coming out.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, no, because they dropped the trailer
Yeah.
and they're releasing it in 2 volumes. Of course, they're not
Yeah.
releasing the whole thing at once.
Yeah. So equivalently, Lord of the Rings is in there for me too, stuff like that. But anyways, I did watch. There is another show that a lot of people don't know about. It's starts off slow but gets really good if you like anything about fantasy. It's also not just fantasy. It's a show called His Dark Materials.
Okay.
Has anybody heard of this?
Heard of this. Don't know what it's about.
So His Dark Materials is on HBO, and it's a crazy show. I mean, it would be almost impossible for me to try to explain it. So I'll just say it's a really good show, and it's on its last season, I believe, now. So it's not a bad show to take a look at.
High ratings on HBO, 7.8 stars. That's pretty good. Anything else you got?
No, I'm good.
All right, Will, take it away.
I don't really have a lot to contribute here. Before I give a Colucci-esque recommendation, it's not even a recommendation. Marissa and I have just been crushing Fantasy Factory.
Since I said it on the freaking podcast.
Yeah.
I told you.
It's turned into like
Factory.
So you see, I'm changing people's lives out here, going back to the past.
it's turned into like the new Office for us, you know, like
Yeah.
where we just have it on like the minute we get home, and then like we pause to like watch one show, and then that's it for the night.
Where are you watching it?
Paramount Plus.
Paramount
Plus.
Because they have all the MTV.
Will, you went to the dark side. I can't believe it.
It's so good though. Like it's such a like feel good show, and like Rob Dyrdek is like, I wouldn't say he's a hero of mine, but like, you know, from between Rob and Big and Fantasy Factory and, you know, all the stuff that he's done, like, I mean, he's just a fucking comedic. He's just a genius when it comes to like entrepreneurship and comedy. So, yeah, I've been crushing that. Yellow Jacket season 2. Also watching it in coordination with Colucci.
Are you not as big? I think it sucks.
I think it's okay. I think there's parts in some episodes where like I kind of tune out and like I'm not as interested. The first season I don't think
all the adult stuff sucks.
And that's kind of like, you know, because like I think Marissa enjoys it and I don't think I enjoy it as much, which is okay. But I still am gonna watch it. I'm still gonna finish the season.
Now
out.
I need to know how they get rescued. So I don't. It's really pissing me off. But
but all the back and forth is
well, that's the issue. Like season 3, I believe, of Better Call Saul just came out on Netflix, and it's nothing like Breaking Bad. It's just all talking. There's so much back and forth. The drone's on. And actually, on your note of the Fantasy Factory, I have started to live. I absolutely live for light-hearted content now because it's just like it's so much better. You just feel better when you're watching it
100%.
than when you watch. Like even like I don't know what it is about the modern era of cinema. I feel like it's a lot easier to get shock and awe value to be seen on these platforms if you do something super negative.
100%.
Like you focus on it like that's what like goes
true
back
crime or something.
yeah, like the Jeffrey Dahmer shit that came out. Like the jarring stuff seems to be the easiest to produce and get right. So people are doing it. And like, let me ask a question to you. When's the last time a comedic movie came out that you went to go see in theaters and or saw on like that's not from a previous era?
like just a new one.
Like I can
not a sequel,
right?
Or
like
anything
I went,
like
I
that.
can tell you. Oh, you want an action movie? Okay, Avatar: Way of Water. There was Top Gun. You know, you want a fucking dark movie. Scream 6 just came out. Andrew went to go see it. You want
a lot of horror movies came out.
Yeah,
in
a lot of
last
horror
year.
movies. Fucking Insidious, all that shit. What is name me a comedy that's
Evil
come
Dead.
out in the last 6 months that you've like been like, wow, I got to go see that.
I call me crazy, but the Super Mario Brothers movie might be considered that, but I think you could just consider that an adventure movie. Like
Thing about that one is, that's also rated G. I'm talking
no, it's a PG, I think.
Okay, PG.
Regardless.
Yeah.
No, I mean the last comedy movie that I saw in theaters was Jackass. The new one.
Right.
4 or whatever.
Right.
I mean that's
but
right for me
that's a sequel. That's
still a sequel.
That's not something that's just come out of the
original
woodwork.
comedy.
Right. The only one I can think of in recent times is the Murder Mystery 2 that came out with Adam Sandler
But that wasn't
and
even
Jennifer
theaters.
Aniston.
That was
It wasn't. It was direct to streaming. So I guess that's
and even that is murder mystery.
Right, you're right.
Like,
So my only point to the matter is that like we've modern cinema for whatever reason in theaters and in content, they just have gone so far away from that world of like The Office. Part of me thinks it's the PC shit. Like I think comedians are afraid. I genuinely am starting to believe that comedians are just afraid to get out there and say things that are going to offend people, because the era of Step Brothers and old school, like those types of comedies are gone. They don't exist anymore.
I think part of the issue is that
Zoolander.
money. I don't know, the budget of the profit of those movies might not be that great. Like a lot of people go to horror movies for the experience of going to a horror movie in a theater and like being freaked out with everybody and stuff and like being scared and stuff. But like I feel like comedy movies that are coming out now, like I'll wait for that to go on streaming. Like I don't need to go to a theater.
Well, that's a great point, because if you have a scary movie, it's a guarantee, probably 95% chance that if you do a certain number of things in your movie, the people who are watching it are going to walk out scared.
Yeah.
That's the goal of it.
And
but if
also
you do writing for comedy and getting someone to act a certain way that's funny, like over the weekend, we watched that movie with another movie with Jim Carrey about the UPS man or the delivery man or whatever. Oh, the cable
guy.
Cable guy. That movie, he is so fucking funny, dude. He is so funny, and my whole family is dying laughing in the movie. Yeah, there's a movie recommendation for you, Cable Guy. It's an
older movie. I think it's like late 90s or early 2000s.
But dude, and we watched when we were in Vermont. We watched Dumb and Dumber, right?
I watched Dumb and Dumber 2 last night.
Yeah, and we're like, so we're going.
That suck?
It was okay, but like like they dumbed him down for it. But regardless, it was classic Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels.
But when we watched the first one in Vermont, we were dying laughing.
Oh, I still die laughing at that movie.
So there's an epidemic going on right now. Everything we're talking about is dark. Even my favorite action movies have gone skewed so dark. I don't know if it's because of the Game of Thrones effect on modern cinema and whatnot, but
Game of Thrones, Sopranos, Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, like those were all like, if at the core of it,
those are the biggest shows ever.
Horrible shows.
Right.
Like Zombie Apocalypse, Mob Family, Meth Dealer. Like those are all like bad topics. War.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
Even Avatar, like that whole movie scheme is about basically them being uprooted and their planet being raped of its resources, like by the U.S. military. Essentially, it's kind of a depressing story. It just destroy this beautiful place and all that for gold, for money. So I don't know. I don't want to drone on here. I just think it's one of those situations where like I don't know why, but I maybe it's common sense that it's harder to write, people. You can't guarantee that people are going to find something funny, and they're just moving away from it, and it's a heartbreaking situation. Maybe even like Will Smith's content is Will Ferrell's content is a perfect example. Like they flopped on every movie they did. In recent 5 or 10 years.
I was getting in an argument with someone about this the other day. Did you think Anchorman 2 was good?
I thought every Anchorman was fucking great.
Yeah.
Do you like Anchorman 2?
I have like a deep-rooted love for Anchorman because my mom took me to see the first one when I was like 11, which was like not a great move.
No, that was R, right? Anchorman 1 was R.
Whatever it was not appropriate for me and my like 7 other friends that were also 11.
That's epic though.
But so I'll always love Anchorman. And like me to the Will Ferrell point, like I don't know. I don't think he's come out with a good comedy movie. Like there's a movie, Everything Must Go.
Yeah.
Came out in 2015.
Super depressing, but
kind of depressing, but dark humor in a sense. Like I think that was his last good movie in my opinion.
Yeah.
And everything before that as well.
Well, so it must be relative to his kids. He probably had kids and then started moving away from like or maybe his wife didn't like the fact that he was running around nude everywhere and doing like insensitive content. Like, what kind of example is Will Ferrell for children? Yeah, you know
for even
like,
Frank the Tank.
Yeah. How do you show your like 6-year-old son or daughter like Frank the Tank and be like, oh, don't go out and do drugs?
I still do love Wolf. But
Oh.
I personally didn't like Anchorman 2. That's where I was coming with that.
On the radar,
Anchorman
new.
1 is
Haven't
better.
seen the new episode of Succession. That did come out, and then also there's
Barry season 4.
Barry season 4.
Or
Haven't started
season
watching that
4.
yet.
I'm watching it.
I'll get to it.
He's gone full psycho. They're
That's what everybody's saying online. The show has taken a turn.
Yeah, the show's taking a turn. It went from like kind of like dark comedy, which I liked. I actually loved it for, into just straight up fucking like this guy is full blown psychopath. They kind of did with him what they did with Dennis a little bit. Dennis from Always Sunny.
Yeah.
They start him out as like a normal fucking degenerate bar drinker kind of guy. And then they evolve him into this, like in the last season of Always Sunny, he was scary.
He's psychotic.
He was but he was like not that funny. He was just genuinely starting to be scary.
Yeah.
Like,
But that's what makes it kind of funny, though.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
New season of Sunny's coming out next month. Season 16.
We're in an exciting time for content. There's a lot of content.
But there's going to be a huge break because now there's a writer strike. So.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
So actually, that's going to bring everything to a grinding halt.
Well, yeah, we talked about this on other podcasts. Someday we'll go back into the record books and we'll look back. This is kind of cool that like T-Box Talk for us, if nothing else, if no one else, is kind of like a time capsule for us in all our discussions over a greater period of time. And we had that big conversation about AI and how it was going to fuck things over. And that's like the first, I read the whole article. It's like AI is starting to get to the point where it's writing things. You can go on ChatGPT. I had them do it. Well, last night I was fucking around and I had ChatGPT write me an ad for Atlas. I was like, I put in all the credentials and I was like, just write me a 30-second ad. Give me a script to say, how would you sell our video, whatever. Shot by shot, it gave me word for word. It gave me the whole thing.
Yeah, it's fucked.
So,
I also didn't. I signed up for Chat AI or Copy
AI,
AI, and I didn't know you ran out of things for free. So like, I was just like typing funny things in there and like playing around. And it's like, your subscription has ended. Please pay. I was like, oh come on! Like I was just getting started. So that was sad. But all right, we'll go into our last segment of the day, our little free-form stand-up segment, and I'm gonna kick us off. A couple things. I had a situation develop over the weekend. So, I'm a man who, when I put the GPS on, I follow the GPS to a T. I don't care if there's a faster way to go based on roads that I know or roads that I've been down before. If the GPS is on and I don't know where I am, I'm going by the GPS. I look at the map. I follow the signs. I am in Southeast Saturday morning, South Boston. I'm trying to get to Alston, which is 18 minutes away, okay? I'm hungover as fuck. I'm driving. I'm so, like, depressed. I'm like, fuck, I just want to get there, get a coffee, and get my day going for Saturday. I'm following the GPS. It splits off into a tunnel down here and a tunnel over here. I thought I was going in the right tunnel. I was in a one-way tunnel to Logan Airport, and I watched my GPS switch from 18 minutes away to 45 minutes away. Because once you get in the tunnel to Logan Airport, you cannot get out. There is no exit. You have to go all the way under the bay to Logan Airport, past Logan Airport, around into Brighton, and then double all the way back over the Tobin Bridge. So I turned an 18-minute ride into a 42-minute ride, all because I swore by the GPS. If I looked at one sign above the tunnel, it said, because I saw it as I was going in, it said Logan Airport this way, and I knew that was wrong, but I was just following the GPS. I was like, this is right. This has to be right. And I just completely went the wrong way.
That's a tales all this time in Boston. Marissa and I were going to the North End for like my birthday or something one year. We were staying at the Citizen M and doing some restaurant and museum hopping. And we're in the tunnel, and I was supposed to get off on the right exit, and the GPS, I lost service. So the GPS didn't update, so it had me going straight. So I went straight through the tunnel, and a 7-minute ETA turned into 25 minutes because I had to go over the bridge, turn around, and come back to the North End.
Yes, it sucks.
Fucked.
And then my other thing is a story from my past.
Before you do that, I want to also comment that 2 weeks ago when I did the Putt Shack date that I went on, I fucking did exactly that same thing.
Yeah, you just get in the tunnels.
I didn't do the tunnel. I took a wrong turn off of one of the highways or whatever, and it ended up pushing me back like 30 minutes because I had to drive through the heart of traffic, and it was at like 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I had to drive from here to the place, and I fucking found a random ass parking garage somewhere. And I was so late. I was worried the girl was gonna ditch me basically and just bail out. And I had paid $36 prior to going there for our fucking whatever, our spot in line. And I sprinted from like 5 blocks away and show up to the date absolutely sweating balls, fucking being like, all right, let's go, girl that I don't know. Like, let's fucking go in. Sorry to make you wait 45 minutes. Like,
no, I don't have a sweating problem.
yeah. Let's go play putt-putt. Skip the drinks.
Funny.
Skip the drinks.
It's funny because my friend who I was going to his apartment, he texted me. He was like, hey, I'm about to go get coffee. Do you want me to wait for you to get here? I was like, yeah, I'll be there in 15 minutes. I was there 45 minutes later. It's like, I fucked up. Turns out all my friends have done that before, though. They got in the wrong tunnel and they go right to Logan Airport. My other thing, quick story. My dad, it's a cool thing about my dad that he has trained karate his whole life. So he's like almost like a master of kickboxing. He did it for 40 some odd years. But it came to a fault at some points. You know, he was very, very on edge a lot because he was trained in darkness. So they do part of karate training or the kickboxing training that he did was you fight blindfolded. So you'd have to sense and find people blindfolded. And it all came to a halt one day when me and my older brother, he was sleeping, you know, he was doing a dad nap in a chair in the living room at nighttime. And we went and woke him up in the dark. And he came up like swinging because that's what he was used to and that's what he was trained to do. Punched my brother right in the nose.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and gave him a bloody nose. So like I've always been like proud to say like, oh, my dad's like a fighter, like he could fight, but it also backfired on us several times. And like if you snuck up behind him, he'd turn around, and like he'd come swinging, and like, he's hit on it completely on accident. He's connected a couple times.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. All right.
I was excited about that. I'll add to that narrative too for my little section here. And Mr. Colucci is a man of many mysteries. But I had the situation the other day where I was driving home from work, and we've talked about roundabouts, we've talked about poor driving and all that shit, but the roles got reversed a little bit. I had a fucking bullshit situation happen where, and I'm curious first off if this has ever happened to you guys, so tell me if it has. I'm driving into like you guys know over by Seasons, and there's just like an intersection basically around like near us. So I'm driving into it, and I'm driving. I'm listening to music and whatever. And out of nowhere, I'm in the middle of the intersection, and all of a sudden I hear a fucking siren, clear as day.
Yes.
And I locked up the wheels, dude. And when I say I locked up the wheels, I fired the brake off on the car and was stuck in the middle of the intersection, freaking the fuck out. And I'm like looking around. I'm like, oh fuck! Like, is there an ambulance? Is there a police officer? What do I like? I don't want to get reamed for one. 2, I don't want to be like going against the law and then I get a ticket and like just worst way to end my day, whatever. And so I'm like looking around and there's people fucking behind me. I'm getting beeped at the whole 9 yards, and people. I'm like, why aren't they fucking? What's the deal? Why is everybody on my fucking ass? And why can't I see them? And all of a sudden I realize that it's the siren from the music in my car.
Oh
my God. Set me off. And I literally am stuck in the intersection. And I was like waiting for a cop to come by. And sure enough, it's music. Because they thought somewhere along the line, hey, it's a good idea that instead of playing like real musical sounds, we're going to start to incorporate the sound of fucking police sirens. And it wasn't like some hardcore gangster rap. I'm like listening to like EDM or some shit like that. And somebody just started to throw a fucking police and siren noise into the song.
It was that real.
It was that real because I was playing it loud enough that like when I heard it, I was like, they're right here. There's, you can hear them coming down the road.
And you know they're not stopping at that light.
And no word of a lie happened when I was in the middle of the intersection.
And you just stopped.
And I was shook. The rest of the drive home, I was shook. I'm fucking slamming brakes here and there in the wrong places, and I was like just lucky to get home. And to Andrew's point, being in cars and there's funny situations, and we had this, one of the fascinations I have with Mr. Colucci is that he has this superhuman ability to have a notebook and a recorder out in his car and take
He's
notes.
doing dictation.
Doing dictation.
Yeah, my dad did it in the car all the time. Yeah.
He has a fucking superhuman ability, basically, eyes out of the sides of his head, where he's able to peripheral visionize the whole entire road and create a landscape that nobody else can see.
Yeah.
And he can operate the motor vehicle on ramps and off ramps while doing his dictations.
It's insane.
But his kryptonite is sometimes he falls asleep. He drives us off the road.
He gets a little drowsy sometimes, but he's getting better.
His kryptonite, drowsiness.
Oh, man. But I'll tell you, man, you got one Coke bottle in that guy. He's up for no word of a lie. He'll do 8 straight hours at the wheel, no questions asked, if he has one bottle of Coca-Cola.
My dad's the same
approximately
way, too.
47 milligrams of caffeine.
That's like he doesn't touch caffeine at all. So he's like, we have a 6-hour drive back from Pennsylvania. He's like, oh, 1 Coke, I'm good.
Do you think he would need to take a Xanax to counteract the anxiety from the caffeine?
Probably. Probably.
So then he kind of is like still
He's
at
just
the
level.
He's level.
Just
He's
made a stimulant smoothie in his car.
yeah. Xanax Coca-Cola. Does he do dictations on a ride like that?
No, he had to put the dictations down since the whole texting and driving thing happened. but yeah, when we used to do the long drives, the dictations came out. They have to. I mean,
Like I said, a man of many mysteries.
it's a billable hour right there.
It's a billable hour is fucking behind the wheel.
Bayo, you got anything?
I had a story, but you know what? Now you guys talking about your dads and stuff and cars.
Yeah.
A light bulb went off, and I didn't flesh this one out, but it is a true story. And a few years ago, actually it was 2017 or 2018, I officially bought my first car. It was 2010, Mercedes. You guys saw it. It was the C300. I was very proud of it. I was very protective over it. And I'm home, and I think it was for Thanksgiving or Christmas. I want to say Thanksgiving. And my uncle, who's big into cars, big into old cars, and my father and I were having a conversation about how we think new technology in cars is enabling or producing worse drivers. Backup cameras, all these alerts on your car, these safety features, the lane assist, all this stuff.
Right.
And my point of view on it is that it's enabling people to just be lazier at the wheel. So the way it goes at my house with parking is that, my parents have their garage 1 and 2, and then my dad actually parks outside because he parks the tractor and stuff in his side of the garage just to keep it sheltered. And so when I'm home, I pull in directly behind my dad. We just have like a straight driveway up a hill. And I don't park in front of my mom's garage because she leaves at odd hours of the day, and I just don't want to be out and about and have her stuck at home. So I always park behind my dad. And one year my dad had to leave before I did. And I was like, oh, I'll just move my car for you. I was like, no worries. I was like, there's no way you're getting out. He's like, no, I can get out. And I'm like, just let me move my car. He's like, no, watch this. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, he's like, I got the backup camera now. He's like, I can anti-parallel park my way out of this one. I'm like, reverse parallel park. That's what I mean. And so I'm like, sure, go right ahead. So it's like me, my mom, my Uncle Chris, we're all standing at the front door watching my dad try to, position himself to get out of the driveway. And, I'm watching him. He's going very slow. I appreciated it. And then within a matter of 5 seconds, he hits my car. He backs, sorry, Dad, I had to tell you a story. He backs directly into my front bumper using his backup camera. And me and my Uncle Chris are just standing there like, this is exactly what we're fucking talking about. So I'm home last weekend now, and the same scenario has presented itself. And I've parked him in. He's got to leave for work at Tallwood. I'm coming back to Rhode Island, but he's leaving before me. It was early. It was like 7:30 in the morning. And I was like, oh, do you want me to move my car? I was like, I know you got to leave. He's like, no, I can get out. And I'm like, I'm moving my fucking car right now before you hit another Mercedes of mine.
Oh,
that's so funny.
Fucking funny, dude. That is awesome.
So I'll wrap that up with my grind my gears, my Peter Griffin grind my gears segment is stop relying on technology in cars to do the driving for you. Because guess what? One of these days you're going to back into your son's car.
Or just take the easy way out. Like just back your car up 5 feet, pull out.
Yeah, we got a turnaround too.
We're done. We're done here.
We're done here.
We're done here. That's all
like
you
a
have to
self
do.
check for my dad. Yeah. Sorry, Dad.
But anyways, that's going to bring T-Box Talk episode 51.5 to a halt. Thank you all so much for listening. Tune in next week. We have a very special guest that we're going to tease on our social medias. So take a follow to at T-Box Talk Pod on Instagram and on TikTok. Follow at Omada Golf as well. Check out our website. All the bags are live. All the rangefinders are live. Limited inventory on push carts. So if you want to grab your push cart for the spring and summer season, get them now while supplies last. Thank you so much for tuning in. Big special 1-year anniversary to next week, including a special trivia giveaway. You do not want to miss it. Huge special guest. We're very excited about it. Thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
See ya.